My name is Matthew. I have told this story many times, yet each time I speak it, my hands still tremble, not because I doubt what I saw, but because I remember who I was before I saw it. I lived among numbers, weights, measures, calculations. My world was precise, cold, and predictable. Sin could be counted. Profit could be justified. Conscience could be silenced. Until the day he disrupted everything. When Jesus called me, I did not feel worthy. I felt exposed, as if he had stepped into a locked room inside my soul and turned on the light. From that moment, I began to watch him closely. At first, out of caution, then out of awe. The first miracle I truly witnessed was not dramatic. No crowd shouting. No sky tearing open. It was a man with leprosy. I remember how the crowd stepped back, how people covered their mouths, how fear spread faster than the disease itself. The man fell at Jesus' feet and said, "If you are willing, you can make me clean." I expected Jesus to speak a word from afar. Instead, he reached out his hand. I felt my breath leave my body. No one touches a leper, but Jesus did. I watched decay reverse beneath his fingers. Skin restore itself. Life returned where death had been living. The man wept uncontrollably. And in that moment, I realized Jesus was not afraid of impurity. Impurity was afraid of him. Another day, a Roman centurion approached, a man of authority, a man we should have hated. He spoke not for himself, but for a servant. He said he was not worthy for Jesus to enter his home. Jesus marveled. I had never seen him marvel before. When he spoke healing from a distance, I felt something shift inside me. Faith, I realized, was not about proximity. It was about trust. When Peter's mother-in-law lay burning with fever, Jesus took her by the hand. The fever left as if rebuked. She rose immediately and served us. No recovery, no weakness. I began to understand. When Jesus healed, he restored fully. That night, they brought many to him, the sick, the tormented, the forgotten, and he healed them all. I watched him cast out demons, not with rituals, not with struggle, but with authority. They recognized him. They feared him. We crossed the sea one night. A violent storm rose suddenly. Waves slammed into our boat like fists. We screamed. He slept when he stood and commanded the storm to be still. Silence fell so abruptly it was terrifying. I remember looking at the water, flat, obedient, peaceful, and thinking, this he has heard his voice before. When they lowered a paralyzed man through a roof, Jesus did something unexpected. He forgave his sins. The room froze. Then he healed the man, not to prove his power, but to reveal his authority. The man stood, carrying the very mat that once carried him. I saw a woman who had been bleeding for 12 years touch his garment. She trembled, believing even contact with his clothing was enough. When he turned and called her daughter, I felt tears rise in my eyes. He did not just heal bodies. He restored identity. I watched him give sight to 2 blind men who followed him, crying out endlessly for mercy. When their eyes opened, they did not shout. They stared, as if the world itself had just been born. When he raised Jairus' daughter, the mourners laughed at him. I did not. I had seen enough. When he spoke, death listened. I remember the feeding of the multitudes. 5 loaves, 2 fish, thousands of mouths. I distributed bread that should not have existed, yet it never ran out. I remember the moment Peter sank beneath the waves. Jesus caught him, not after, not later, immediately. When he healed the man born blind, I watched religious certainty collapse. The man knew one thing only. I was blind. Now I see. I stood nearby when Jesus healed a mute, demon-possessed man. The crowd marveled. The leaders accused. Truth often threatens those who benefit from darkness. When Jesus entered Jerusalem, I felt dread beneath the praise. He spoke more often of suffering. At the cross, I saw the greatest miracle. Not power unleashed, but power restrained. He could have ended it. He chose love instead. And when he rose, when death released him, every miracle suddenly made sense. They were not interruptions of nature. They were previews of the kingdom. I write all this because I remember it. I remember the fear, the wonder, the confusion, the joy. I was a man who counted money. Now I count testimony. I saw him. I followed him. And I know he lives.